PEGS group, the arts council, they need to quit using teacher because it's not the way salaries.
I really do know these times about it.
Yeah. And they came in and talked about the changes, or we're going to have artists come in and different from the salary.
I was worried about the change because I didn't know that they were so far. It's like, see, I don't think anywhere. So I'm happy that she got it. But I think Cal did pretty good for trying to go nature's educator though. She's right on it.
She had a presentation she wanted to show. She said, "Can you just put it up?" I was like,
Not today. Somebody.
She's on it.
But see, that might be something that she brings to the stand up in front of us and make a presentation of what she shows. Here's what we do.
Oh, she is
But
first on everything.
but on their application, there's holes. If you remember last year, we almost didn't get it to them because there's a PO, or they just
Oh, the Amazon wish list.
like the Amazon wish list, and some of the questions that were there, it was like, do you live 10 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles from City Hall? And they didn't put a physical address. They just put Kansas City.
That's right.
So it's like, but from City Hall here to City Hall, I think is exactly 10 miles. Or sorry, anything in the Canyon City area from here is about 10 miles. So it's like,
"Have you seen the chairs? Are they? Can I see the chairs?"
Huh?
That the merchants gave you.
Oh, the benches.
What color are they patterned?
it's great.
Hot pink.
I was worried about how they came up with the chairs was what they asked for, so they had a good idea. For two chairs.
Oh, you should see these things. What happens to them? They are so nice. And big and heavy and sturdy, and once you powder coat them,
They did 6, right?
yeah.
Who does the color coding out there at prison?
Well, I was wondering.
Tougher Nosers and all those guys run the CI shop.
$310 for it. I mean, Tuppy does stuff for our Trout Unlimited group, all the trophies for our Trout Unlimited. And people just love them.
That's cool.
Yeah, kids design them, kids cut them out, they build them. So, and so
I love that.
a student who did it last year will take to the new students, and he kind of assigns somebody to be the lead,
Oh, I like
and takes them through, redesign it, change the year, pick a new coating on it, and make him in charge of quality. Because the first year it was like, there's some quality issues here. He says, yeah. So next year it was good. This year was like really good.
I like that idea. I like that Chambers using the school also for that.
Oh, heavens, they should.
I
The facilities they got up there, the CTE stuff.
We used to do everything for stroke. My Minnesota will go get it. That was Mr. Fargo.
Hey, we had smoke in the area, we sure did.
We'll do it for a hat.
A hat, yeah.
Do something.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, my Lord.
What year?
17?
17.
Oh, my Lord.
So I was long gone by then.
Yeah, me too. 91. So.
And Lori was
90.
90. You guys were 1 year apart then. Okay. Cortland was
12.
Oh,
12.
my Lord. My baby is 12. My goodness.
12.
We had some good nights, and 90 was the best year.
Oh no, 90 was.
I know.
Everybody's got their 93 was all pretty close.
Oh, they were all right. I think 88
So
had
traveling
good.
abroad in
14,
Europe.
was it 88? Oh, my group of girls had the good basketball. We did have good hair.
Oh, yeah.
That is true. Thank you for recognizing.
Hanging out in the Swiss Alps.
You're welcome.
Nobody can take it.
Nobody can take that ever away from you.
Nope.
Agreed. You're not making him go to Starbucks.
You're the only one that's going.
Seriously.
Oh, yikes.
I think I'm gonna go. Yeah. I like seeing them. You wanna go?
Dan said that housing right now, he couldn't even find housing, so that the good, so that you guys are gonna be bunking in an Airbnb.
That's okay.
That's what we did.
But
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind, anything's better than my first year there. That, debacle.
Double dipping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Caitlin Turner, the attorney. Yeah, we mean Portland County Court. Double dipping in salsa. No, the first one was,
I was in Airbnb. Darn it.
yeah, some things you can't unsee.
Yeah, Tammy, who sent me the picture of the table? Or this round table.
oh, Nordy's.
That's a good barbecue.
Well, I mean, James had to let her hair down a little bit.
No, we played trivia. Remember that night? How come we almost won too?
Maybe the solar guys will be there again. The solar guys. Talk to them again.
Getting ready to sell them.
You gonna go home? You wanna stay? No. We have to talk about Costco? No. Oh, honestly, it doesn't really matter to you guys. It's just the debt, which right now. So, should be mid.
Tell them to go to the police block. That's gonna be. I'm just waiting for the crowd to come in.
Brace for impact.
To this day, I've only received one email about it, and it was the email we got yesterday. That is the only email I've ever gotten about it this far.
Look at that. Looks like summer out this window. Over here.
It's like what?
Yes, it does. Sprinklers going, light in the sprinklers, green grass. Yeah. Saves the problem.
Looks like, he said it's out there, looks like summer. The sprinklers are going, the lights on the water, there's green grass. The wind comes up, everybody sees it. Just a reminder to anybody in the audience who wants to make public comments, to make sure you sign up at the sign-up sheet there at the by the desk there. Okay, last reminder, make sure if anybody wants to speak during the public comments, make sure you get signed up. Thank you. Call to order the Florence City Council meeting for Monday, April 7th, 2025. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Counselor Van Houten?
Here.
Counselor Stiefel?
Here.
Counselor Mergelman?
Here.
Counselor Gardner?
Here.
Counselor Stone?
Here.
Counselor McKinnon?
Here.
Mayor Wolf?
Here. First order of business are a couple proclamations. I'd like to invite Sarah Fisher up. Okay. All right. This is Sarah Fisher. She is with the Family Crisis Services, and this proclamation has to do with Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Whereas April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month and calls attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and impacts every person in Fremont County, and whereas every day women, men, and children across Colorado suffer the pain and trauma of sexual assault upon survivors and our communities, and whereas this crime occurs far too frequently, goes unreported far too often, and leaves long-lasting physical and emotional scars. And whereas during the National Sexual Assault Awareness Month, we recommit ourselves to lifting the veil of secrecy and shame surrounding sexual violence, expanding support for victims, and strengthening our response. And whereas sexual violence affects individuals of all ages, backgrounds, and circumstances. And whereas, as a community, we share the responsibility for protecting each other from sexual assault, supporting victims when it does occur, and bringing perpetrators to justice. And whereas, at every level, we must work to provide necessary resources to victims of every circumstance, including medical attention, mental health services, relocation and housing assistance, and advocacy during the criminal justice process. And whereas, Florence, Colorado can come together to increase awareness about sexual violence, decrease its frequency, hold offenders accountable, support victims, and heal lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Steve Wolf, Mayor of the City of Florence, Colorado, do hereby proclaim April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the City of Florence, Colorado, and hereby urge the community to work together to educate themselves about sexual violence prevention, to support survivors, and speak out against harmful attitudes and actions. All right. Do you want to say anything at all?
No, but can I give these to you
Yeah.
guys?
Yep.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna leave them here for you. And teal is the official color of the month, so there's one for each of you
Okay.
guys as well.
All right, thank you. Why don't we- Our second proclamation deals with Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuels for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of our business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas the City of Florence has been recognized as Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation Association. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Steve Wolf, Mayor of the City of Florence, Colorado, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the City of Florence, Colorado, and urge all citizens to celebrate and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Okay. All right, next order of business, public comment. Kevin Moalji.
Hi, Kevin Mamalji, Florence Reporter, P.O. Box 19, Florence, Colorado. So just want to commend you guys for passing the proclamation for the victim sexual assault awareness. But frankly, the fact that you guys continue to dodge citizens on publishing a police blotter, it completely contradicts all of what you just said, right? If you want to advocate for victims, if you want to make sure that there's justice, you would be reporting criminal activity on a daily basis, or at the very least on a weekly basis, to inform the citizens of what's happening in town. There have been, in the past 3 or 4 days, people have reached out to the newspaper about vehicles being broken in near Babbitt's Field, windows being shot out of residences near Lions Park. There's a restaurant, Quincy's, on Main Street that had restaurant equipment stolen, and there hasn't been a peep from the police department or from the city. Not until 1 o'clock today, the police department finally posted something about crime. And if you go back, there isn't another post about crime for like a year. So I'm tired of coming up here and asking you guys to do what's right. I asked you guys last time I spoke if you would just put it to a vote, you as electeds, right? Because as far as I'm concerned, the decision's being made by a bureaucrat, by the city manager. It's your jobs. What are you laughing at? What's funny?
Just choked.
Yeah. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And you guys don't care. You just stare blankly. You hide behind the city attorney. Like, it's crazy to me that you guys just don't care. And you laugh. Frankly, you shouldn't be on council.
Okay, we're deviating from the...
Yeah, of course we are. Talk to your fellow council member.
I did just a second ago.
Shouldn't be this way. We should have a police blotter, right? Why is that so difficult for this body to understand?
Normally we don't comment this time, but I'm going to make an exception here. Yeah, it was brought to my attention, and part of the reason I'm making a comment is because my name was put in the Facebook postings today. You know, I was made aware of some issues, and my first response over the weekend was to take it to the city manager, and I forwarded it on to the police chief, and to ask them about the situation that came up. Then I got another email, and I immediately went and said, okay, let's take a look at this one. That's the one that they said that was reported, that something happened over the weekend. And they have been looking into it. It happened, I guess, Saturday night. They talked to the people on Sunday. Got put into the system today. Today, that's like less than 48 hours.
And that's
And then I asked them, has there been other activity in this area that has been reported to the police? Activity that's been reported, not posted on Facebook, but activity that has been reported. Somebody has come in and made a report, get a case number, and actually put their name on paper and say, this is what happened. And of today, there was not another one that had happened. You
With all due
mentioned two other ones, but those didn't happen.
With all due respect, if you would just take a minute, I know you don't have a Facebook account, But if you read through comments on Nextdoor, read through any of the posts, you can go on the police department's post. People don't want to contact the city of Florence for anything, right? Like response times. People, there are drug deals happening over in the skate park, right? People are mentioning this stuff on Facebook and they don't feel comfortable coming to the city because the police department won't do anything about it, right? Another issue that I want to talk about is staffing. Now, I know in a normal situation, I should be able to say like, hey, City of Florence, how many officers did you employ in March of 2023 compared to today? And I would get an answer in a normal world or situation. But since I'm in the twilight zone here in Florence, I won't get an answer and I'm going to have to submit another core request just to find out how many officers are currently employed by the city. That's crazy, right? Like, get a grip, put out a police blotter, let the citizens know how many people we have on the streets on patrol. When was the last time any one of you ran into a cop patrolling Main Street? I haven't this entire year, right? It used to be a thing. I would bump into cops walking up and down Main Street, walking into businesses, shaking hands, all that good stuff. It's not happening.
With all due respect.
Yeah, sorry. With all due respect, you know, we've heard a lot of this from you. The city has not heard this elsewhere. Maybe it's on Facebook, but the city can only act on facts, not rumors. You've been offered the chance to talk to myself and the city manager on many occasions and have never taken it up on that.
That's not true.
That is 100% true, and we've got the documentation to prove it. So it's great if you want to stand up here and lecture people, but we deal in facts.
I'm not going to be lectured by you. You're not going to take my time.
I'm not taking your time.
So
we
I don't
deal
wanna
in
hear-
facts.
I don't want to hear.
You don't get.
You deal with facts.
You don't get to.
You
tell
guys
me
just got in trouble for.
Listen to you. This is the problem.
Right. Yeah. This is the problem. I'm the problem. I'm the reason that the city cannot publish a police blotter.
You can publish a police blotter. That's your job. If
I
you want.
literally put
We have
in
all
a
the
re-
information publicly for you to
Yeah.
publish a
Okay.
police blotter.
And I requested the information from the city manager, and she said that I have to go to dispatch because she doesn't even have a call log of what these guys respond to.
because that's how dispatch works. I'm sorry if the facts don't fit your narrative, but they are the facts.
Fit my narrative. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Our 3 minutes are up now. Our 3+ minutes are up now.
You guys literally just had an issue with Discovery.
Your time is up.
Yep.
You literally just had an issue with
Time is
Discovery
up and
earlier
don't
this
get-
year. Or last year with
Kevin,
Discovery.
Kevin, time is up.
Here's another concerned citizen. Is she going to have an opportunity?
Did she sign up?
No, but we would be happy to take your complaints in writing.
Yep.
I have reported several of the situations to the police department that happened on our block.
Okay.
Now, why is he talking? He's not an elected.
Okay. That completes our public comments for this evening. Now we'll move on to consent agenda. Consent agenda, consider approving the minutes for the regular city council meeting on March 3rd. Consider approving the city expenditures for March 13th, March 27th, April 3rd, and March 20th. Consider approving a special events permit for Fremont Community Cares. Consider approving the annual liquor license renewal for the Florence Brewing Company, LLC. Consider approving the annual takeout and delivery permit for the Florence Brewing Company. Consider approving an annual liquor license for the Patio Pub, the takeout and delivery permit for the Patio Pub. Consider approving the report of changes application for the Patio Pub, and consider awarding a contract for the street renovation of South Pikes Peak Avenue. At this time, any of the council members wish to pull any of these consent agenda items?
Yes, I would like to pull consent agenda items 5C. Consider approving the special events permit for Fremont Community Cares.
Would anybody like to pull any of the other ones?
I'd like to pull I. consider awarding a contract for the street renovation of South Pikes Peak Avenue.
All right, we'll be pulling items C and D. Do we have a motion for consent agenda?
C and I, Mayor.
Pardon?
It's C and I. that
C
they
and I,
asked to pull.
okay, excuse me. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda items A, B, D, E, F, G, and H.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the consent agenda items A, B, D, E, F, G, and H, please.
Okay. Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. All right, consider approving the special events permit for Fremont Community Cares.
Yes, I have a question exactly. What is Fremont Community Cares? I guess I need a little bit more definition of that.
Yes, this is probably the first time you're seeing this nonprofit in our special event permit application. And this is Jamie Newsom. She's the representative for Fremont County Community
Hi.
Cares.
So most of you guys know me. You know that I sell Main Street out of an office here on, I sell real estate out of an office on Main Street. Sorry, I'm nervous. But I also had a nonprofit called Fremont County Community Cares. And we do several community events and fundraisers throughout the year. One thing that we just wrapped up a special needs prom that we did out at the event center here, which is a huge success. What we have coming up now, so this specific event that is on the table, is for a roof fundraiser. My broker owner, Sam Banning, is back here. So our brokerage, Home Smart Preferred, partners with Centerline Roofing, and every year we provide a roof free of charge to a community member who exhibits a significant need for a roof replacement. And in an effort to do that, we have to raise funds. So one of the fundraisers that we are proposing for this year is to use my corner office space in addition to 2 spaces that we have. We will be doing a garage sale at Junk Teak. So we have 2 spaces across from the office for the garage sale. But while we're doing that, we would also like to sell pre-mixed beverages to help raise funds for this effort.
So your customers are going to be Junk Teak?
It would be the Junk Teak customers, yes, but they would be confined within a specific area while they were consuming the beverages. They wouldn't be freely roaming Junk Teak with alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
We have air conditioning and clean bathrooms, so I think that'll be a big pull for the event.
Okay. And that also includes the car show?
It does, yes, sir.
Okay. And the dates, October 16th, December 13th?
Okay, so those dates, I'm not sure that we will actually use December 13th. I added that in just in case we might use our office for the Christmas party. I'm not sure that we will actually use that date. The date in October is for, we didn't do a grand opening this year because I was doing the special needs prom, and I was just so engrossed in that event that I didn't have the opportunity to actually focus on my own business. So I want to throw a birthday party, a 1-year anniversary birthday party for our location that will also serve as a grand opening.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. All in favor of approving the special event permits for the Fremont Community Care? Can we have a motion for that, please? No, we don't. Yeah, we do have to have a motion, yeah.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the special events permit for Fremont Community Cares on the dates presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Item I, consider awarding a contract for the street renovation of South Pikes Peak Avenue. City Manager?
So this was part of your street needs assessment. This was your #1 ranked street on there, was this portion of South Pikes Peak Avenue. As we put in there, the project is scheduled to be completed by June 23rd, 2025, with some liquidated damages included as part of the contract for each day of delay. It is not anticipated this will have any impact on the annual 4th of July parade. However, the project will be taking place during the 2025 Juntique and Car Show events in May. This does include curb and gutter replacement and some sidewalk replacement in that area, as well as the curb has failed and is deteriorating. So in order to tear that out, we will also need to tear out the sidewalk. There will be some potential tree removal as well, left to be determined by the contractor. One thing that's very important to note about this project, in order to meet this timeline, that entire block will be closed off for the duration of the project for vehicular traffic and for any parking. We have already started working with PD to not give out tickets to those parked on Main Street potentially during that time because of the limitations of parking. And between the contractor, the city, and the business owners, we will be getting with anyone on that block and working with them to make sure that they still have sidewalk access to their business and that we have as little impact on that as possible.
Will we be talking to each one of those businesses?
Yes, Sam has a plan to go and speak to each business individually after the contract is awarded. And then probably have a group sit down if necessary, depending on the responses we receive, if we're able to talk to each person individually, et cetera.
Okay, any other questions? The reason I pulled this is because this is the result of a 2-year project. And we've done the, we've known these streets needed repair. We started setting money aside 2 years ago when the new council came on. We had the street assessment done. This was the worst street on the top of the list. We set this money aside on a priority basis, so they're gonna finally put the shovel in the ground and get this project going. Unfortunately, at the other end of the street is another one of the big projects going on right now. But we're just gonna have to bear with it this summer and get those two things done. They're replacing a 120-year-old water line at one end and then a sidewalk that's just been terribly abused over the last few years. And we're gonna get it done, and it's gonna be a little inconvenience, but it's gonna be good when we're done.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to consider awarding the contract for the street renovation?
I'll make a motion. Award the contract for the street renovation of South Pikes Peak Avenue in the city of Florence to Langston Concrete Incorporated in the amount of $291,828 plus a 10% contingency.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next item, committee recommendation. City planner?
Good evening. This agenda item is consider approving resolution number 2-2025, a resolution allowing a professional office as a use by special review at 105 South Pikes Peak Avenue. The applicant has applied for a special use review for a physical therapy office. The physical therapy office would potentially occupy a portion of the existing building at 100 East Main Street, although it does have a separate address. The building is in the CHB, Central Historic Business District. A physical therapy office meets the definition of a professional office per municipal code, which is an allowed use in the CHB, Central Historic Business District, by a special use review. The applicant does have 35 years of experience in physical therapy. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on March 27th after proper notice was published, mailed, and signed posted. The Planning Commission voted unanimously in favor of the special use review application submitted, recommending to City Council for a final decision. Do you have any other questions pertaining to the other information in the staff report?
How soon do they think the business would be in place?
How soon? This month.
This month, okay. Because I know Florence could use physical therapists in town. Every community could use a physical therapist in town. Right. That's, any questions at all? Okay, do we have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2, 2025?
I was at the planning commission meeting, and I think it's a great fit, and I would move that the city council approve resolution number 2-2025, a resolution allowing a professional office as a use by special review at 105 South Pikes Peak Avenue.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Mergelman,
Aye.
Counselor Stone,
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten,
Yes.
Counselor Stiefel,
Yes.
Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. And I'd just like to say congratulations, and we're looking forward to that business, that new business coming into town.
You're gonna get a new street.
Yeah. All right, old business, number 7, consider adopting the second reading of ordinance number 2, 2025. City manager?
Oh, sorry, Cortland, didn't turn that on. This is a housekeeping item. It was presented in our last regular meeting together. This is the term of office of the council members and the mayor, setting the term of office for council members to initiate in January and the mayor to stay after the results of the election are certified, as that is what statute requires.
Any questions? I think we discussed this quite a bit the other day and talked about the pros and the cons of it. Hearing no questions, do we have a motion to adopt the second reading of ordinance number 2, 2025?
Okay, I'll make a motion. Adopt the second reading of ordinance number 2-2025, an ordinance amending section 2.04.050C, term of office, commencement of term of chapter 2.04, City Council of Florence, Colorado Municipal Code, and amending or repealing all ordinances or regulations not in conformity herewith.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Stone,
Yes.
Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten,
Yes.
Counselor Stiefel,
Yes.
Counselor Mergelman,
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. All right. Consider adopting the second reading of ordinance number 3, 2025, an ordinance amending Florence Council Municipal Code Chapter 2.04.010. City manager, anything else?
No, another housekeeping item. This is the adoption of the updated City Council Rules of Procedure to match the updates to the Title II.
Okay, any questions? Can we have a motion, please?
Yes, I'll make the motion. Adopt the second reading of ordinance number 3-2025, an ordinance amending Florence, Colorado Municipal Code Chapter 2.04.010, City Council Rules of Procedure.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Stone,
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten,
Yes.
Counselor Stiefel,
Yes.
Counselor Mergelman,
Yes.
Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. All right, item 8, new business. Consider adopting resolution concerning establishing the water rates and regulations for water taps. City manager.
So as many of you are aware, we are going to be working on a holistic rate study for the water rates over the summer. This is not it. This is the annual debt retirement changes that we need to go through. So you can see the debt retirement went down slightly, which is a good thing for everyone. Water rates will come with that water rate study. No other real changes at this time other than the debt retirement payment decrease. There was a type of service previously that allowed for a debt payment of 50% for hotels, motels, and rooming. There's an option for declaration of non-use with that. those that are impacted by this are already kind of doing that declaration of non-use process, so we don't anticipate any changes for anyone. We just wanted to get some of updating that language in order and thought that this was the appropriate place to do it with the change to the debt retirement payment.
I know you answered my question right there. Anybody else have any other questions? How long have our rates been in effect, these actual rates?
I do not have that exact number in front of me. I should have anticipated you would ask me that question, but I believe it's been well over a decade, maybe even two.
Okay.
Minus the debt retirement, which fluctuates annually, of course.
Yeah, I agree. I know it's, when we looked at it in the water board, it's been a long, long time. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Do we have a motion for resolution 3-2025, please?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 3-2.25, a resolution amending establishing water rates and regulations for application for water taps.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon,
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten,
Yes.
Counselor Stiefel,
Yes.
Counselor Mergelman,
Yes.
Counselor Stone,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. Item 9, council reports. City council reports. James.
I do not have anything at the moment.
Okay. Gail.
I'd like to recognize Jeff Reagan, Florence Junior Senior High history teacher. He was awarded a state recognition from the state of Colorado. So congratulations to Jason. He volunteers for everything imaginable up there at the school system. He's very in tune to kids. He's pro-kid. He's one of those teachers that I enjoyed working with, and I wish I was still there so I could be around him. But yeah, so congratulations to Jason.
Matt.
No report.
Tammy.
Yeah, a few meetings. The Chamber of Commerce meeting, and they're always working on advertising and helping the city, all the businesses, as much as they can. And I'd like to welcome Ace Hardware. They had a ribbon cutting on Friday. Maybe it was Saturday. I don't remember. Friday. So welcome to them. Business After Hours was at Oak Creek Grill this last month. And there is another one, the 16th, is on a Wednesday at Sweet Radiance, and that's at 202 West Main, and that's 5 to 7 on Main Street. The merchants are also working on events, and they have Second Saturday coming up with an Easter egg hunt in each location downtown in the businesses. And they're working on the car show. Couple of attended the Planning Commission and also met with Wholesome, and they're doing some future community engagement opportunities.
All right, thank you. Rudel.
First, I'd like to apologize for my involuntary outburst at the citizens' time to speak. That was unintended. County planning was canceled this month because of nothing on the agenda. I did attend FEDC, and many items to talk there, but nothing that directly affected Florence. And Pioneer Day continues to meet preparation for the summer activities.
Okay, thank you. Brennan?
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Mayor's report. Bunch of things going on. 4th of July celebration. There's some donation flyers on the back there. I know we are going to be having the movie in the park. That information will all be going. Is it on the website now? It's on Facebook. Okay, so we will get that out. Free event for the citizens. The other big thing coming up is the city cleanup, which starts next Monday. Going to move east to west across. Let's see, somewhere up here I had my flyer for that. Basically yard waste, that sort of thing. And I would encourage everybody, If you have a neighbor who struggles a little bit, maybe is a little bit older and has some trouble, keeping their yard up, volunteer an hour or so. Go over there, help them. Bag up some stuff, put it out on the curb, and just help each other out in this. If you have somebody that of the cleanup week, and they may not know, they're new to town, go and talk to them. I know I've started to do that already. There's some people I've targeted and said, hey, let's see what we can do to help clean up a little bit. I met with the Wholesome personnel with the city manager. We got an update on the future of the plant and the new quarry, potential solar energy field, and along with a major carbon capture project that they are planning for. And then along with community engagement and involvement. I know we have another community meeting this next coming Wednesday, and I'll just keep it at that. If you want to add anything to it during your report, you can. We had the Mayor's Roundtable. Interesting, a lot of the talk focused around grants and the availability of grants, since so many of them have been frozen. What's happened at UACOG and some other things. Been to a couple senior coffees. I really enjoy that. I think the group that meets there is quite comfortable now, because they will be ready for their questions when I walk in there. Attended the merchants meeting. Business after hours, Oak Creek Tavern. I had to recuse myself from the competition because it was all about Florence High School athletics, and I didn't think that was quite fair. Speaking of high school, the high school has finished their baseball facility up there, and the whole facility. They have their opening ribbon cutting for the baseball field this coming Tuesday. They do have the lights figured out, so it doesn't light up all of Florence whenever they turn them on, like they did when they were figuring them out. But I mean, it's just a great facility up there. Met with the city manager and the Canyon City Rec District, just looking at possibilities down the future and just brainstorming some things that may be out there. Attended the Bighorn Roundtable, which looks at all the recreational opportunities from Florence all the way up to Bighorn Canyon. The biggest focus for Florence is what's going to happen with the Minnequaw Dam and that redesign, and it is progressing. Hoping that they get a boat around and they get habitat so native fishes can get by and move farther upstream. A good thing for the ecosystems, and if we can extend that Arkansas River, all that activity down to Florence, I think it'll be a boom for us. So we're working on that. Attended the Fremont County Noxious Weed Board. One of the big talks there is the effect of the federal freezing of the federal budgets, especially on BLM and some other organizations that depend on the federal government for their funding. But everybody's working through it. Everybody's doing the best they can. I also responded to several citizen communications. Outside agency workshop. All the good, positive things that they have done. We had a workshop before this meeting, and everybody who got grants last year came in, and it was great to see what they did. Everybody was focused on their objectives, what their goals were, and so many of them worked together and working with the city, working with the school district. Again, it's just one of those really positive things. I also have to give a big shout out to Fremont County Sheriff's Office, Florence PD, the City of Florence, and Fremont County for cleaning up the homeless camp at 300 block of West 7th Street, up there by Babbitt's. It took a while. We found out, you can't just snap your fingers and do something. There's 2 jurisdictions there working, but they did a good job. A lot of it was under the radar, and if you ask the city manager, I kept asking about it. You know, it was one of my weekly topics. What's going on there? And then one day I get this email saying, things are happening. Don't get in the way out there, you know, because my curiosity would send me there. So again, big shout out to all those people that did that. Yeah, I got down here to respond to the police blotter and the crime in Florence deal and the claims on Facebook. You know, one of the things on Facebook said was, if anybody out there was experiencing crime, criminal activity, to email me. And sure, go ahead and do that. You know, I will gladly take that. I will respond back. Now, most of the time I've got to go out and I've got to gather some information. You know, I can't speak for the council. I can't speak for the city. I can't speak for the Florence Police Department. But I will go ask questions. And what did I do all day today? I was asking questions. City manager, police chief, the administrative assistant. Every time I asked questions, they were getting back to me. All right. You know, we've had this talk before that, yeah, we do not have a daily or weekly police blotter. And we're not published in the Canyon City Daily Record, but all that information that goes in the Canyon City Daily Record is available on Fremont County Crime Watch. I check it about every week to see what's happening. You know, I did just a little check today, and I know I'm a little long-winded here, but I need to say this. So I went and checked what was on the Crime Watch for Florence Police Department, Canyon City Police Department, and Fremont County Sheriff's Office for the first 3 months of this year. And Florence has 16 items in there. You know, mostly just the arrests. Canyon City Police Department at 126, Fremont County Sheriff's Office at 115. All right. So I said, oh, is there a trend here? So I went back one more year. Same time frame. Florence had 15, Canyon City had 150, Fremont County Sheriff's Office had 100. So I said, all right, I'll go back one more year. 2023. Florence had 12. Canyon City Police Department had 69. That was less half of what they had in 24. And the Sheriff's Department had 107. You know, and I'm constantly coming in and asking, you know, do we have, you know, are there issues going on? You know, I come in and talk about, you know, I'm observant, I'm an educator, I see these kids running around town. I come in and I ask questions, you know, are we having trouble with kids and groups of kids around town? You know, and the answer is no right now. The incident that got everything started today, the one incident that could be confirmed, occurred on Saturday night, was reported, the police department checked on it on Sunday. It was in our Tyler system today. And so when I called up and asked this morning, they were able to give me all the details. And then I started asking a whole bunch of other questions. You know, they know that I come from a standpoint, you know, if there's a surge in something, if there's a pattern, yeah, we expect them to post that. And I think they would. I know they would. All right? So I know I have all the confidence in the world of our city manager and of our police department. You know, I'm speaking for myself right now on that. I have all the confidence in the world because I deal with and work with them on just about a daily basis. All right?
I would like to agree with you, Steve, and just to stick to the facts, too.
Yeah, yeah. But if there's somebody out there that does happen, and you feel like you need to talk to me for some reason, feel free to do that. You've got my email, and my phone number is also on the city website. Feel free to call me. I love to talk to people rather than email them. Yeah. Chief, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, you know, thank you, Mayor, for that. I would like to add on to that, is that I have an open door policy. Anybody has a problem or has an issue, they're more than welcome to come to my office and talk to me. I'm out in the streets. I'm out here on Pikes Peak in Maine, so I don't know what he was talking about.
I'm always at the senior center. I'm always out here driving around and pulling cars over and doing whatever. Any person, if they got a complaint, they can come to my office and talk to me. Or they flag me down the street. I don't have a problem with addressing anything or anything that's going on. My attitudes of the officers or anything. I will address that, and you are more than welcome to come in and talk to me at any point. I believe at one point, you flagged me while I was walking down the stairs and I walked over and talked to you. I do not have a problem with addressing anybody or anybody coming to me and talking to me.
We have definitely talked to you a few times.
Yeah.
We've had 5 instances on our block since the end of September. 3 of them were called in. That's a pretty high number for one block, you know, I feel like. We lost $6,000 in the damages that we incurred by 2 different people that hit us. So, you've been very good about talking to us. And I would like to say, as a citizen, what can we do to, you know, do we need to have neighborhood watches? Do we need to be aware of where things are getting to be hot so that we can, we did put up 4 cameras around our house because we no longer feel safe. And we're right across the street.
Absolutely, and that helps out too. It's gotta be a community. We can't be everywhere at once. The cops can't be everywhere at once.
Right.
But with your information and all that, instead of on the Facebook, I don't do Facebook, okay? What people need to do is come in and tell me, or if there's something going on, and you see your neighbor, get to know your neighbor. So if something happens when your neighbor goes on
We
vacation
know our
or
neighbors.
something, let us know.
Yes.
We can't be everywhere at once,
Right.
but we have to know about it. Not getting bashed on Facebook or something like that. Anybody is welcome to come to me,
Yeah.
to the police department.
Well, I appreciate that.
You're
And-
welcome.
And you
You're
know
welcome.
and you know that we have come to you 2 or 3
Yes,
times.
absolutely. When I was walking out the door, yeah, I came right
Right.
over and talked to you.
So I would just say then, like, I don't know what's happening in the rest of town. You know, you hear things here and there, but if there's something that you feel like the citizens should be aware of, again, I don't know, with a neighborhood watch or just a discussion group or something, to tell us about, are there things that we need to be concerned about? I
Absolutely.
did notice last summer that we had a huge uptick of traffic in the alley of homeless people,
Mhm.
and they were causing damage, you know, harassing dogs, et cetera. So we have our cameras trained to kind of cover our whole house now.
Okay.
But, I would like you to, you know, ask us if there's, not us, just me and Mike, but
Right.
the citizens, if there's things we can do.
You bet. Sorry,
All right, thank you. Okay, any other comments?
Yes, Chief, I see you on Main Street all the time.
I guess I'm just invisible, because I mean, I'm out there, so.
All the time.
No, you and several other ones, so.
And I have actually gotten out of the car and gone and talked to him on Main Street.
Okay, and I think every council member, you know, has the same attitude. If somebody comes to them, they're gonna bring it. We're all comfortable about bringing it to the city manager, bringing it to the police chief. I mean, there's no break in the order there, chain of command at all.
Steve, I'd like to add, don't send us the emergencies, please contact
Yes,
Florence PD.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's your first source.
no, sir. Yeah, and I was gonna say that, yeah, about emailing me, but if you haven't contacted PD, that's one of my suggestions. Anytime anything happens, you gotta contact them. That's the only way we get a trend. All right, thank you. City managers report.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I'd want to add about the conversation that you, Tammy, and I had with Wholesome would be they did talk about maybe opportunities for council to take a tour or some staff. So we haven't heard back with exact dates or anything, but be on the lookout for that because it sounded pretty exciting and they told me that it was okay even if you're afraid of heights like I am. So
Yeah, but it's so much fun getting in that open cage and going to the top of the tower.
really looking forward to that part. But I think it'll be a great opportunity for council to go out and see how the plant works. I know it's something I'm really looking forward to. Outside agency funding committee. You all, I just wanted to bring this forward in case you all wanted to make any changes because last year in advance of the budget process, of course, we moved back when the outside agency funding would occur and just put that placeholder in the budget again. And in advance of the budget process, you all had appointed Councilor Van Houten and Councilor Stiefel to be on the review committee just wanted to make sure if you wanted to make any changes or wanted to revisit it in any way, because we could add it as an item on the next agenda if you did want to revisit that, or if you're comfortable with maintaining, that doesn't violate any of your policies on that either.
It's up to you guys if you guys want to change it.
Are you guys good?
Sorry to put you on the spot like that.
All right.
And finally, thank you for approving the South Pikes Peak project. As Riddle said, that's been a long time coming. It was in a little bit under our estimate, which is exciting because you all budgeted $750,000 this year for projects based on that. So hopefully that'll hit around that 300 mark. I think the bid was right around 300 and we put in a 10% contingency, of course. McCandless, which was your number 2, will be going out for bid this week with a couple of different parts. One being that worst part at that intersection, that will be part A. Then we also have a part B that will be optional. So the contractor can either bid on part A or parts A and B, but not B alone, because B wouldn't have warranted being your number 2. But with mobilization cost and other costs for construction, it may be worth at least seeing what the bid on portion B will be. And that will, of course, be council's decision at that time when we receive the bid. But look for that to go out within the next week. It's sitting on my desk for review right now. Sam just brought it in this afternoon.
Does anybody else have any other questions for city manager? Okay, so you're gonna take the request for qualifications for the master plan that goes to the planning commission first.
That is correct. It will go to the planning commission, and then whatever they decide on there will appear on your agenda as an actual item. We're anticipating that to be on your May 5th, agenda.
Any other questions? City Attorney, anything?
Not much from me. I did just want to let you know there were 3 applications filed in the Black Hills rate case today, just as an appeal, starting the appeal process. Likely to be a long, drawn-out appeal, it looks like, including potentially going all the way to the Supreme Court, Colorado Supreme Court. So, I mean, we're looking at months and years before any of that's resolved, but would not expect much to change. That would be a pretty rare circumstance.
Can they put any kind of increase in while this is all in litigation?
They could certainly put in the amount that the PUC approved, but they may choose not to go that route for strategic or other reasons, or they may drop it and come back with a different increase in the future. So hard to speculate on that. That's it for me.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm so sorry. I forgot one thing that
Sure.
I did want to point out. I know that when we did the water rate resolution, we talked about doing a rate study. I just wanted to clarify, we have no idea what that means. If that means increase, decrease, stay the same, it's going to be based on operational cost, upcoming projects, all things like that. So I just didn't want there to be any public panic that we're going to for sure raise the rates or do it by some astronomical amount. And the PUC topic was what brought that to mind. But we don't know what that looks like, but it will be based purely on our operational needs and what our actual cost of doing business in the Water Enterprise Fund is now.
Yeah, and I know that there was a call for a rate increase study, a water rate study for 23 or 24 in the regional. And so we've got it going now. Okay. Any call for executive session? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. 7:24. Okay.